We can feel it. There's this sense, there's this knowing that 2025 is something epic, that there's something really big coming. You can sense that you're stepping over a threshold into this year, into 2025. It won't be the same. It's the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. It's the number nine. It's the time of completion. It's the time to lay this framework, this foundation for this entire new era, this whole new cycle. And who better to align with and the frequency to attune to as we enter into this cycle than Lakshmi, the goddess Lakshmi, the sweetness, the beauty, the abundance, the love of Lakshmi. I know that there's been a lot out there in the world about 2025, and if you happen to be a YouTuber, every headline is prepare for the shift, terrible things happening, world coming to an end. Not so. So what? Let's just take a nice deep breath all the way in and let that all go. We are the master creators of our experience. Yes, there is a big change coming. But we get to choose what timeline we're on. And maybe it's been a turbulent start for some of you, but I encourage you to open your hearts and align with the highest possible frequency because it is us together in collective community, in unity, and in love that we get to choose. We get to decide what 2025 is going to feel like for the collective and on a personal level. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and our beloved Debashree is here in India, and we have many beautiful things to share because we are going to do something really special, and it's free and it's for everybody to start off your year in a very high frequency in alignment with the most beautiful goddess. And I just realized that Lakshmi and the Abundance Light Code is the very first light code in our book, right? It's the very first one. You open it up, there you go. It's an incredibly beautiful template to begin the new year with. And so every year we kind of have an energetic template or a theme when we're working with our light codes, the light codes that come through and that I channel. And last year was the code of healing, and healing kind of threaded through the year. But this year, where the cycle is ending, we're beginning a new cycle, and the cycle of abundance is here. And so abundance can be abundance of all kinds of things, right? But we get to decide what kind of abundance we're looking for. Turbulent abundance, crazy abundance, or blissful, joyful, peaceful, beautiful abundance. So on Saturday at 9 o'clock in India, and I'll have Debashree share about this in a minute, there's going to be a live puja designed just for you guys, just for our community. Anybody listening to this, whether you're listening to it on YouTube or you're in our spiritual community, can join. There's no fee. It will be on Zoom, so you'll need to get the Zoom link, which means you'll have to be a free member. All of you here are, and if you aren't, you can subscribe below to become a free member and you will get the link. It will start promptly at 9 a.m. New York time. And we're going to share with you what will happen in that hour. And it's going to be a beautiful, energetic upgrade and vibrational connection to the goddess Lakshmi and the frequency of abundance to just get your whole year like set up and in a good space. And then the code, the abundance light code, will begin on Monday, on the full moon on the 13th. How divinely perfect did that line up? So I'm really thrilled, and it's going to be this beautiful, sweet, pampering, loving, nurturing, just delicious energy. And I think we could all use that right about now. All right, so let me share my screen and let's take a peek at what's happening so you guys have a better understanding. And not that there's sound, but just in case. Can everybody see this okay? Yeah, shake your head. I can see it okay. Thank you, Gracia. All right. So there is the abundance light code. If you guys don't know Debashree by now, she's the artist of the cards and all the artwork that is magnificent. And it is a combination of that beautiful energy and the transmissions and the activations that come through Raphael that bring us into this light so that we can open up our energetic body, our light bodies to receive all this light. So here's a photograph of a place. This is where Debashree will be in a village in India, where the live puja will take place on Saturday. And again, everybody is welcome. It'll be at 9 o'clock. And a couple things about that. If you can wear white that day when you join the Zoom call, we would just love that. Shouldn't be too hard. If you can't, it's okay, but it'll be really nice. We would also love it if you would clean up your house before the puja. It's really important to Lakshmi to come into a clean space. So when you're invoking and you're inviting Lakshmi, she likes things to be tidy because there's a sense of respect around that, respect for yourself, and it opens up the energy to abundance. In addition to that, if you could have a chalice with water in it or some type of sacred vessel or bowl, that would be beautiful. If you'd like to light a candle, that would even be greater. And if you happen to have a statue of Lakshmi, fabulous. Here's one that I have. Okay. If you don't have one, that's okay. If you happen to have a yellow crystal or something glittery and gold that represents that frequency, that will work too. All right, so here we go. We'll come back to that. So Debashree, are you here, darling? Let's see if I can
Yeah,
hear.
here.
Great. Okay, so here's Lakshmi. And do you want to share with us some of the symbolism and the importance of Lakshmi and her frequency, or do you want to talk first about this and come back to it? Maybe we start here, huh? About the 2025?
Yeah, I think that's a good place to start. So here we had this amazing experience with the end of 2024 with the opening of the infinite energy by way of completing our opening of the 12 gateways, and which started with the Lyrans on 8-8, and then we pursued it through the twin flames and ended it with the 12-12 and the 12-21 activations. And so we've touched this infinite energy of abundance already. And now we enter the 9 year, which is the 2025, which is a new cycle. I think it's believed that we're kind of reaching the end of this era, which we refer to as the Kali Yuga. And the yugas are a very, very large and expansive cycle, and they go on for like 4.3 million years, and they're consisting of four segments. And the last segment of a cycle is the Kali Yuga. So when the Kali Yuga ends, you end this massive kind of galactic cycle as well. And somehow we seem to be positioned at the end of this cycle, somewhere between 2025 and 2030, as it's estimated right now. And so that in itself is truly, truly significant and pivotal. So I think this completion is what we're experiencing or going to experience in 2025, which is the 9 year, which is the year of completion. And completion comes with the dissolving of the illusions of this matrix, right? We've figured out the artificial matrix and what it's doing when we receive the mother source grid. And I think it's about tapping into the the the, the dissolving of this illusion and reaching the absolute truth of this new era. So it's really very big if we can possibly tap into into that. And so Lakshmi in the Vedic tradition is referred to as the mother goddess of all abundance, infinite abundance. And so when you start a new cycle, in India, when you start anything new, you started with Lakshmi, with the Shri, with the feminine energy of abundance. And so I think that is what we're doing with Raphael in 2025. So it's very exciting and beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful template for us all to begin the new year with. And so we hear so much about this new cycle, the energy of 2025. And it is the falling away of illusion, right? Of truth coming up, truth being exposed. And we've been hearing about that. But as we continue to witness the shifts, the changes, and the collapses of so much that has been part of this old cycle that's falling away. We can have this need sometimes to grasp onto it. And then when we grasp onto it, because it's familiar, it can hold us back from creating and stepping into the template of the abundance, perhaps on every level that we're really seeking to, because it we're not able to shatter those old beliefs, those old behaviors and ways of being. So I encourage you as we prepare for the light code, which is going to be just filled with so much beauty and transmissions and activations and channelings and light, to get really clear on your intention and to fully expand your vision way beyond perhaps any parameters that you've ever given yourself permission to expand it upon before, because this year's going to move very, very quickly. And it's like in with the new and out with the old, but like boom, 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 right? There's not going to be that, oh, I'm wondering, or I'm going to take a little bridge, or we're going to slowly ease into this or that. It's like, this isn't working anymore. Boom, I'm moving on to the next thing. It's going to come rapidly. And so if you can have a map of the year and a template and a sense of your intentionality, and you can stay somewhat focused in that frequency of where it is that you're going and expand into the infinite vibrations, then the illusions that perhaps to date have been in your way, perhaps of piercing through those veils and those illusions into what Debashree calls the seed of creation, the womb, the emptiness, the void, the place that the center of the Sri Yantra, which we'll be working with in depth, the Bindu, that's where we get to the kernel, to the truth of our essence, of who we are, what our blueprint is. And so keep asking yourself as you're working on your manifestation process of creation and preparing for the light code on next Monday, what is it that you are really seeking? What is your true passion? What's in alignment with your truth? Dig deeper, well, much deeper maybe than you've dug before. And if you've had to settle before for certain things because you were afraid or you were in lack, that if you let go of something that brought money, or that you stopped doing something in a certain way that maybe doesn't work for you anymore, that you wouldn't have enough, can you really potentially just trust in that you do have enough and can step into this new cycle by really being willing to let go more and more and more, more and more letting go and trusting, falling into the divine? Because it's easy to say, it's another thing to do. All right, so let me go back to the sharing. I just don't want to have a screen up all the time while we're chatting. So all right, so this is the cycles that we're talking about. And I just want to keep reminding you, you're going to be, and I know Raphael talked about this last week, and I felt that channeling itself last week, it was a little hard for me to totally connect. I'm going to do another prediction video where we actually talk about the predictions for 2025, but there never are predictions, right? Because who could possibly say they know what's going to happen or what's going to unfold? We have a theme, we have a feeling, we have a sense, we know that we're at the end of a cycle, the beginning of something new. But the creation and manifestation process is going to be moving so fast that it's all going to be dependent on you as the creator of your experience and the vibration that you're carrying. And who better to usher in this energy of beauty and love and compassion and abundance than Lakshmi? All right, so Debashree, tell us a little bit about the symbolism for those who maybe don't fully know what all this means here.
So this is the goddess Lakshmi, and she represents prosperity, abundance, good fortune, similar to many other equivalent goddesses across various pantheons. Um, she is the ultimate mm, goddess of also fertility and uh, creation in a sense. And so she has many forms. Her image is uh, has over the last 1,000 or 2,000 years been developed using the symbology that you see in this anthropomorphic image. But prior to this, in the Vedas, the goddess energy, the mother goddess, was represented by this yantra, which is the Sri Yantra. And the Sri Yantra is like 11 or 12,000 years old uh, at a minimum. And so this is a more abstract form, a more expanded cosmic form of the Mahalakshmi. And the red dot in the center of the Sri Yantra
Mm.
mechanism. So it's a energy mechanism. It's a diagram that generates certain energetic fields. And this particular yantra is called the mother of all other symbols in Vedic Shastras. Every other symbol and every other yantra emanates from this one. So this is really at the helm of geometric energy. And this red dot in the center is the energy of the Mahalakshmi, is the great goddess. And all the triangles that are interconnected, there are many multiple dimensions to this Sri Yantra. One of the most common um, versions of the Sri Yantra is that it consists of 9 interlocking triangles, of which 4 are masculine and 5 downward triangles are the feminine. And there is also a 9 interlocking layering that is concentric, which is also a representation of, and all of this is the representation of the Lakshmi. And I'll get to the image on the left in a bit. But these 9 layers are uh, bound within space and time. So they are dimensionally, you know, constrained in a sense to fit within our reality. And so the triangles, because she is the mother goddess, the creatrix, she is the creator of the matrix. And so the triangles are actually the illusions of the matrix. And so, what we learn to do in order to achieve this absolute truth and the infinite abundance, and by infinite abundance, we mean abundance that is tangible and also intangible. And we'll get to all of that in the light code, of course. But to reach this point of focus and absolute truth, the illusions of all these interlocking dimensions and all of this complexity need to drop away. And that is the overall intention of tuning into her infinite energy. Lakshmi also carries the energy of the 8, uh, which is referred to as, again, the numeracy of abundance. And so you see this infinity that she forms right from the get-go in her posture with her Padma which is the lotus pose. And she has this there is a story connected to the origin of goddess Lakshmi, and she is actually born of the ocean. So she is the daughter of the ocean, and she carries the energy of the waters, cosmic waters even. And that brings us into a very, very expansive galactic kind of attribute to Lakshmi, as we've studied over the past year with Raphael and Kelly, mm, that we've received information about the inner waters and the cosmic waters and the quasars in outer space. And that's the expansiveness really of the energy of Lakshmi. And so the lotus represents this flower that blossoms in water. And it comes from, it's entrenched in the muck and in the mud of a riverbed. So it represents spiritual, transcendence, like purity. So when it blooms, it remains untouched. Mm, and so she's sitting in this blossom, in this beautiful lotus flower, and she is she has these elephants that represent her her sovereignty. So this is kind of tying into the act of anointing of a king or a prince or a queen. And as you can see, they're kind of showering her with waters from these cosmic vessels, and which is why we're going to bring in the energy of the water into the puja as well. And so what we do is we recite mantras for the entire duration of the puja, which will charge the water. Uh, and so if all of us have a sacred vessel with water with us, we can kind of gather that energy and bring it into our own space. And so that's one of the the key attributes of this puja. So in any case, so you see Lakshmi sitting here with you know with these gestures of offering blessings, and this is the gesture of being fearless. Mm, and there are multiple attributes to the Lakshmi, and we'll get into all of that, and her ability to bestow various versions of abundance. And there is the most significant attribute also is the pot. I mean, she has this vessel or this pot of gold coins or some sort of bounty. So that is the womb. And the Sri Chakra, the Sri Yantra, the Navyoni Yantra, these are all different versions of the Sri Chakra. But it is also called the womb chakra because that's the seed of all creation. And so Lakshmi helps us bridge the womb and the upper chakras. So there is there are I mean it's infinite the amount of information that is layered within these drawings and diagrams.
So what's so beautiful, thank you so much, Debashree, is that we'll gather in community for the puja and we'll just be there in the presence of the beautiful mantras, receiving the frequency. And as you bring your water, it'll be consecrated by those frequencies and the intention of the template of what it is that you want to create moving forward for 2025. And what I love is I have this standing, beautiful Lakshmi I've had for a while, and I showed it to Debashree. She said, "Well, that's nice, but that's a decorative Lakshmi. You need a sitting Lakshmi like she had, like in this picture and the one that I have." And she sent me this one from India. And I said, "Well, why does Lakshmi have to be sitting?" And she's like, "We don't want your abundance walking away. Needs to be seated, needs to be grounded, right?" And so there's so much beauty and light and love in this whole process, and I'm excited. The other thing we were talking about in depth this morning, as we were sharing about preparing for both the puja, which you were all invited to, and the light code, which starts on Monday, is our sacred temples and taking the time that Lakshmi's frequency, like she wants our homes to be tidy and clean to invite her in. She wants us to make this beautiful altar with flowers and fruit and candles, and we're going to have the sacred water, and we're going to get into this feeling of luxury and taking care of our body temple. So in the morning, taking an extra long shower or bath and putting on some beautiful perfume and just taking care of your body in a maybe a way that you've been neglecting it either physically, emotionally, or mentally. And just this feeling of luxury and abundance of freedom and time to nourish ourselves, right? What were you saying this morning, Debashree, about the fluids and the nourishment and all of that?
Sure. So the Vedas actually reference Lakshmi as, because she comes from the waters, there is a beautiful reference of how she is considered the moisture in all living beings, which is a very uh, beautiful description of the abundance in the life form, right? The living force, the vital energy, the flow. And I think that is the the deepest kind of connection that one can build with the waters within your being to the energy of Lakshmi, which is the energy that you tap into to bring in abundance. Because abundance technically is just magnetism, right? And your ability to gravitate whatever it is that you desire to you, which is what the Lakshmi teaches.
And so she's so much more about preparing to receive her, right? Than almost seeking her.
Yes, so another attribute of the Lakshmi is that she's actually uh, the one who brings the teachings of sharing. So when you give, you become abundant. It's not in the receiving of something that you become abundant. Your ability to give triggers abundance, and that is another interesting attribute of abundance itself. And abundance is actually complex. It's multidimensional, like the Sri Yantra. It connects to our ancestry, our belief system, right? What is our belief around abundance? What is my epigenetic code around abundance? What is my original unique blueprint based on my astrological charts, and my personal connection to abundance? What is my karmic connection to abundance? So it's got all of these facets. But the important thing about abundance is that the the giving is also attuning to the ability to let go. So when you're manifesting something, you create it, you seed it, and then you let it go. So then it flowers with its own intelligence. And so there is all of this that builds into the complexity of seeding the new era with abundance. And
Yeah, it's such a beautiful way to start the year. And I'm really excited to channel Lakshmi. She's one of the easiest beings over the years that I've been able to connect to, other than Raphael, and that she just flows right in on the milky ocean waters. And she's very expansive and beautiful and luxurious. And she just wants to share with you and give to you and open you up to receiving in this most luxurious and sensual and loving and beautiful way. And so in our busy lives, like on Saturday, if you guys take the time to do the hour of the mantras and to be in the energy and to put on your white and to get out your Lakshmi and light your candle and put on some beautiful perfume and give yourself that hour to really be in the frequency and allow the water to be consecrated and honor the Brahmins and all those that will be preparing with Debashree and doing so much work behind the scenes to bring us this beautiful, beautiful hour that takes so long to get ready. And then we get to just take in the luxury of it and bathe in that frequency and carry it forward that, in our busy everyday modern life, it's not so easy to remember to make your beautiful altar to Lakshmi and to consecrate the statue and the energy and to take care of our bodies in the way we need to and all the things through the manifestation process, which we will work with in detail with the Sri Yantra and showing you guys the steps and the tools to do all that. When we're in community together and we're all sharing and we're showing on WhatsApp what our altars looks like and we're invested in it together, it's so fun. And I know I wouldn't do it on my own. So I'm excited for us to do it together, and it's that collective frequency that's going to bring it in even stronger and more expanded. Okay. Should I go back to sharing my screen? Let me see what we got here. So this whole Sri Yantra, we're going to go into detail about the time and space and why we've got these 16 lotuses and then the 8 and all the triangles and the 5 of the feminine and the masculine and how they intertwine and what they mean to go into the bindu and creation and how you can use this template for creation and manifestation. So if you want to, for the light code that begins on Monday, print out your own Sri Yantra, you can pick them up. We'll send you in the replay an image that you can print. And what were you saying, Debashree? How powerful it is if it's on copper, right? It's even more potent.
Yeah, there was, I think, a Russian scientist that performed this experiment, and it was very simple. He placed some germinating seeds on the copper Sri Yantra, and he found that the seeds that are on the yantra germinate almost 3 times faster than regular seeds. So
Yeah.
it's obviously emanating bioenergy, also by way of the copper and the geometry in itself. The Sri Yantra, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, so they can just Google Sri Yantra in copper and see if they find a place, and I'll look for somewhere and put in a link too. So if you want to see if you can order that before the code starts, but go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You can, I mean, you can use that to, I mean, to place your Lakshmi on it, or that is really the power center. The
And so here, I don't know if you guys, let me stop sharing one more time, then we'll come back. If you can see this one, the Debashree, of course, sent me. And we're going to work with the red powder too, right? This is, do you want to explain how this is working and if I can tilt it or what's going on here?
or, um, so that right there is the 3-dimensional representation of the Sri Yantra, which is a pyramid, a 9-stepped pyramid, like in Teotihuacan, by the way. and and they have these interlocking triangles that create multiple geometries and facets. And the point at the top is also referred to as the Mount Meru, which is kind of like, you know, uh, Mount Shasta or the Everest or whatever, with all these magical things inside it. But it represents 14 realms, um, 7 of the upper realms and 7 of the inner earth realms. And there is all of this going on. There are 10 layers of protection and the 8 gurus, and you have Yeah, 16 desires, and it's endless. So there's all of these manifestation ideologies, and embedded in this thing that she had in her hand, and it's
Absolutely.
quite powerful. So you just have to, yeah, it has an immense magnetic, you feel it,
Like,
right?
don't do that. Don't do that. Be careful. Don't be pointing that somewhere.
So that is what it does. It activates the pineal gland. So when you meditate on the Sri Yantra, the process is that you imprint it within your chakras. And so you generate its energy within your energy system, and it brings into alignment the nine chakras in the body. So the nine layers of the pyramid are also a representation of the energy centers of the body. So the seven chakras in the body, and then you have the earth star and the stellar gateway. And so the Sri Yantra is also amazingly enough like a rainbow bridge. Like we've been talking about bridging, right? The 3D to the 12D and the two-stranded DNA with the 12-stranded DNA. And that's exactly what the Sri Yantra does. So there have been many studies on how the Sri Yantra also corresponds to the 64 tetragrams, which is the construction of vacuum in space. And Nassim Haramian has a lot of work on this. So the three-dimensional the spherical version of the Sri Yantra would be the 64 tetragrams, right? And so you have all of this information in 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 the form of the two-dimensional Sri Chakra as well, which is the copper plate.
Yeah, so if you
So
can get the copper plate, if that's possible for you, that's fabulous. If not, it's okay to just print out a picture of the Sri Yantra. Someone is asking, is there a list of things we need? So for the puja, which will be at 9 o'clock on Saturday, for an hour, you're going to want to wear white. You're going to want to bring water, in a sacred vessel, not just a cup of water that you would drink, so that we're going to be consecrated. Perhaps light a candle. If you have a Lakshmi statue, great. If not, you could use a crystal that's yellow or something that represents gold or the frequency of Lakshmi. Um, and is there anything else, Debashree, that we need for Saturday?
um, no, I think there is a list. If you're going to send out the
Yeah.
slides, then I have attached the list of things that.
Okay. And the same thing, we're going to send you a whole
Mm.
list of what you need for your altars as we begin class on Monday for the Lakshmi Light Code. Um, okay, I just want to go back here to flowers and fruit and rice and mangoes and anything you want. And so many, we'll send you a full list of everything you need for Monday too. And if you haven't registered for the light code, you can still do that. Okay, let me share my screen. All right, so we talked about the cycles. What we're going to need, this is what you're going to need for your altar when we start class, but we'll send that out to you. This is the space. Do you want to tell us anything about this, Debashree? This is like, it's pretty epic that we're going to be able to take a glimpse into this beautiful space on Saturday. Did I lose you?
Sorry, so we're going to host the puja at my brother's house, who is an architect, but he's also a practicing priest and a Brahmin. And he is going to gather about 5 or 6 Brahmins who are trained in the mantra jap since they were very little children. And it's an art. very complex. And so I mean, I have the structure of the entire puja, and we're going to start with, uh, you know, bringing in the three graces of Ganesha. We always start a puja with bringing in Ganesha's energy and Saraswati and Lakshmi. So the three of them kind of work together to bring in abundance and remove obstacles on the path, and also structure it within spiritual knowledge. And then we have what is called the Abhisheka, which is the anointing of the goddess in her abstract form, which is the Sri Yantra. And also, if you have a figurine, you could also participate in anointing your goddess or your Sri Yantra or a crystal while the mantras are being recited. Uh, we then have uh, we then have the element of the water. So we have an offering of river water or flowing water that is collected in our sacred vessel, as you can see here in this kalash, um, into which we invoke the energy of the Lakshmi. And so this is another representation of the form of the goddess as a symbol of fertility and seeding. You're seeding your intentions here to grow and come to fruition. We then have the the offering of a very sacred red pigment, which again represents the goddess, to the Sri Yantra. And this, so each of these processes have their own mantras that are recited. Mm, and all of this culminates into a homa, which is a yagya, which is a fire ceremony. So you have the water and the fire, like you have in the Sri Yantra, you have the masculine and the feminine, and the composite energies uh, of the masculine and the feminine to be able to bring in the energy of the 0 point. So that's the fire is the purification of the five elements in the body, in our environment, and also, I mean, receiving permission of the elements before we go ahead with um, uh, invoking the goddesses. So,
Amazing. All right. So everyone invite anybody you want. It's open, it's free, it's to everybody. Just to step into that beautiful frequency that we can all hold collectively together for abundance, for our planet, for the collective, for one another. And so we're gonna, I don't know, for those of you who were with me when we did worked with the nervous system at the end on the winter solstice, we received that massive upgrade. Um, the Sri Yantra is also going to deeply be working with our energetic body, with our holy temple as a sacred temple in its own upgrade and its connection to with the waters. And we talked, I guess you and I, Debashree, were talking a lot about the womb chakra and that really being the essence of the Sri Yantra and the galactic waters coming up through in the Tantra Lakshmi as well, right? And all of that being connected to what we're doing. This is a whole thing going on. If you want to share anything about this before we.
mm, I guess this is uh, the visual reference to kind of identify that we will be looking at the Sri Yantra as this cosmic bridge, right? And it expands in both directions. So one is in the microcosm, in our human vessel, and then across the cosmos. And this takes us to the next, maybe we can go to the next slide that starts to expand the idea of the Sri Yantra into a planetary grid, which is truly, beautiful, because what we start to see is that the Sri Yantra has the Naad Bindu, which is that red dot in the center, which is the 0 point. And so that collapses actually into the 0 point of our Mother Source infinity grid. And so it adds another layer of information to the Mother Source infinity grid in a way that we use the Sri Yantra to collapse the expanded illusory veils within the matrix and return to the 0 point to open up into a new era, into a new timeline, and into our new creation. So uh, you can also embed its information into the Mother Source infinity grid, which we embedded into the Christ consciousness grid. So as we can see, with every year and with every microcycle, we're uh, adding layers of information and wisdom into this grid that we've been working with the infinity grid as well.
So this is massive part of the collective work that Debashree and I and all of our members have been working on for quite some time now with the light codes, as this was born during the solar eclipse. For those of you who aren't familiar, on April 8th, and this is our Mother Source creation grid. And now as we come into this new cycle and we bring this alignment together with the Lakshmi and the Sri Yantra energies, I just can't even begin to imagine what level it's going to take us to, and what templates will be born from all of this incredible beauty. So this is just epic, and we'll go into greater detail, of course, during the light code about all of this and what we're doing. So we're pretty excited to start the year off with this gorgeous template of light as our roadmap for 2025 as we enter into this new cycle and we choose collectively love, continue choosing love. And this grid was designed and born through lots of travels that Debashree and I went on. Um, and this came through with Grandmother Spider during the eclipse when, in a sense, the matrix was collapsed for a period of time and this organic frequency came forward. And the collapsing, in a sense, of the illusions through the Shiantra to enter into the Bindu, which is the 0 point, the source of all creation, as it overlaps with the 0 point in the infinity grid. I can't even imagine what we're going to be able to create together collectively in this. It's pretty exciting and it's going to move very fast. Very fast. All right. So we will get you guys, let me stop sharing, a link so that you can print out your own Sri Yantra, right? A picture of it on your computer, or you can just screenshot it on your phone so you have it if that's easier. I'll look up and see if I can find where you can buy the copper ones if you want to do that, because there's more potency and power in that. If you want to get the actual three-dimensional ones, that the one that I have, maybe we can find a link of a source that's reputable where you can order that, or you can look for that yourself. And again, for class, we'll send out everything that you're going to need for your altars and to get prepared. And we're going to have fun. And it's going to be sweet and loving. And so it'll be a combination of teachings and understandings, but channeling and activations and just being in this frequency of luxury and abundance and preparation for 2025. All right. Let me just see if anybody in the chat has questions. If you're listening to this in a format other than right here, you certainly can register for the free puja on Saturday at 9 o'clock. There should be I'll put a link below how you can go about doing that. And if you want to be in the light code with our members, for the light code starts on the full moon on January 13th. It's going to run for 3 weeks, and it's at 9 in the morning for about an hour, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And if you miss a call, there's always a replay. Yeah. Okay. So that's a great idea. Having essential oils is perfect. There's lots of things here in the chat, but we'll answer that in class. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday. I'm going to do a video where we're going to tap more into the energies and the themes of the year in specific categories, like our financial system, our educational system, our political system, um, AI, all these different things that are popping up for everybody and they're wondering about. So we'll do that, and then I'll see you on Saturday for the puja, and then we start class on Monday morning on the 13th on the full moon. All right, I think that's everything. Is there anything else you want to add or share, Debashree?
Mm, yeah, I think the core value that Lakshmi brings, obviously along with abundance, is by way of self-love and self-compassion. And I think that's really the seed of it. And that is why we're engaging with the art of ritual in the body and in the puja and in the environment, and in the geometry. And so it's engaging all our faculties and bringing them into clear focus, right, to the center point. And that's probably what we need to hold um, in our hearts and minds while we work through 2025.
Self-love. Yeah, for sure. And recognizing, I noticed for me, something came in with abundance, and yeah, it's like, how much can you hold and contain? How much worthiness and love do you have that you can sustain the abundance? It's one thing to create the abundance, but can you sustain it and contain it, protect it while still sharing it? All of those things coming into harmony and balance, we're going to work with very deeply in the light code. Okay. All right. Well, I love everybody. I'm glad. I just want you to practice just opening up your heart into absolute infinite possibilities. Break down any barriers in your intention that might be there that you're still operating in the slightest limitation that you don't may not even realize it. They're like, wait a minute. No way. It doesn't have to be in those constructs. It doesn't have to be in those linear lines. It can be in the most infinite, expansive space, your intention. So just take whatever you're intending for 2025, and I want you to just quadruple it. Just keep expanding it, opening it, widening it. How far can you push the envelope? How big can you go? How much can you open up? Meaning, how much can you love yourself? All right. I love you guys. I'll see you Wednesday, Saturday, and then we'll start class Monday. And take care. Thanks for joining us to tune in to Lakshmi's frequency. Invoke and invite her into your home. I'm going to go clean up my kitchen and make everything beautiful and get it ready for her because it's a mess. All right. Love you guys. Bye, everybody.